good afternoon, as it is now. I'm glad we just had some coffee, so hopefully everybody's reinvigorated and awake. Thank you, firstly, to Simon for giving me the opportunity to say a few words to you this morning. What I'm going to be speaking about is FM Conway, which is a UK company. I'll give you a bit of background in a moment. Our experiences in working in London and where we see the opportunities with IoT. And I'm coming from a slightly different perspective from where you've been hearing this morning about technology. We're talking about how we can deploy this and create benefit and value for our customers. So we're into solutions provision. If I can get the next slide to work. There we go. So the first thing to say is a little bit about our business. We're working around London with 16 of the 33 boroughs in London. We're an independent family-run business, and we turn over around £350 million. We've been trading for 50 years, so we've got a very good track record in deploying solutions for the councils. I'd say around 95% of our income is related to providing solutions for local authorities. We've got very strong cross-sector relationships that allows us to work in multiple disciplines within the city, be that highways or lighting, structures, or general infrastructure. So we work across quite a broad portfolio. And we're really looking for innovation within smart services and smart solutions. And we see big opportunities, of course, with IoT. Okay. I think great success with the slides. So why do we need to embrace the technologies that are coming to the market? Well, it's an interesting point that over the last 50 years, 51% of Fortune 500 companies have disappeared. So in our view, it's about evolving or dying. And our customers are very much looking for us to innovate and come up with ideas and new ways of doing things. So as a business, we're embracing those challenges and we're looking for those technologies and solutions around IoT. So what's really driving the need for innovation? Well, cities today are facing enormous challenges, the ageing society, the environmental stresses, and of course, in many local authorities in the UK, not just London, are facing very severe constraints, fiscal constraints, and therefore the ability to deploy these new services have to be funded in some way where there's significant value attached to them. Cities account for 70% of the global energy use and therefore 70% of the greenhouse gases, and there's a significant opportunity through better insights through IoT to better manage energy. So we're already rolling out, lighting solutions across cities, which are now becoming more connected. And on the backbone of those connections, we're looking at how we can deploy other IoT devices to drive down energy costs. And interestingly, the societies are growing. So by the end of this century, 10 billion people inhabit our planet, with 8.5 billion of those living in our cities. And we believe this could be a thing of nightmares if not properly managed. So we're very much focused on solutions. We're not into developing our own technology. It's all about finding an ecosystem of technology partners, hence our opportunity of being here today to engage with many businesses that are looking at the technical aspects. We're looking at the energy optimization, carbon abatement. We're looking at creating safer cities, and just picking up on the panel discussion earlier on, we see a big opportunity for AI and IP cameras in that event. Building smarter cities, and our customers say they want smarter cities, they want a smart city, but it doesn't come out of a box. This is about an evolution of technologies over time, and more importantly, what data and insights can we get from that. Building and delivering smart cities and smart buildings in unison, and of course driving down maintenance and operational costs, a big burden for our customers. So data acquisition, data insights, analytics, AI is all at the heart of our solutions. But for us, how do we contextualize that data? Well, effectively, we take a map, and over that map we can lay drawings and floor plans And then we can start looking at geozones, so we can maybe do some ragging, red, amber, green overlays for our customers. But importantly, it's about how we connect multiple assets to give us those conceptualized insights. And we were talking earlier today about a single ecosystem where lots of devices can all sit on a single platform, where interoperability is going to be absolutely key for us. So that really allows us to see over a city all of the assets, and this is going to be a growing list of assets, we hope, to create a citywide holistic overview of those assets, the health of those assets, and how we run our operations in a much more efficient way. So we talk about the hierarchy of needs. We're talking about physical assets. Councils, governments, local governments have literally hundreds of thousands of assets, many of which are held in individual data silos. Many are not connected, of course, to the cloud, but they will become so increasingly in the future. So we start with the physical assets. We then look at how we can contextualize that data with information relating to that. And there's lots of historic data that councils have on their assets. So we're looking at how we aggregate that and then how we overlay, importantly, the connectivity. And I think this is where I very much look to the audience and the people here today to say, and we talked about it earlier on, interoperability of devices, looking at a community of solutions that we can plug and play into all of our different customers' requirements, and gives us the freedom. And I think the other point that was mentioned this morning, very important, it's about the commissioning, the deployability. How easy can that be? We have 3,000 engineers working in London every day. So we can't make their lives complex with difficult commissioning and deployability issues around IT. It's got to be very simple. So it's music to my ear, some of the things we heard this morning about that future interoperability play. That allows us to deliver those smart services, the services of which are going to make our cities cleaner, safer, healthier for its residents, and of course drive down costs. And in our view, that gives us the smart city approach for the future. And there's an important part there you can see where this community can play its part. Yes, it's complex. There's lots of systems and services. There's lots of assets. And we bring all of that into a single platform where we can run a lot of our analytics on the big data. And we're looking at plugging into third-party clouds because we know there's already open source data out there. We already know there's services that we might not want to replace. We just might want to complement. So we see the interoperability with a wider ecosystem as being really important. There's too many opportunities to list here. All I will say, the possibilities in my mind are endless. And what we're being very driven by is the challenges that we hear from our customers. So on a daily basis, we're engaging with our customers and we're trying to understand the challenges and the nightmares that they face on a daily basis, the things that keep them up, as I say, what keeps you up at night. And then we take those issues away and we look for solutions. So what I'd like to do is come away from the 2 days here with lots of solutions to plug into future problems, if that makes sense. We're already doing some of it. So we have been working with HARDWARIO on a couple of projects. This is one where we've plugged it into an office to monitor environmental issues. And we've identified some issues. You know, we're seeing some interesting peaks around CO2 in the offices, and that's actually driven a whole plan now around how we better improve the air quality in the working space for the 800 people that sit in this office. If we can improve the productivity, reduce the sickness, then the operational outputs of that business would be much better. So we're starting to deliver with customers IoT solutions that are very tangible to problems that they may not have necessarily understood were there before. And here's another interesting opportunity. We are involved in deploying the 5G infrastructure, working with a number of the large telecommunications businesses. So we're doing the infrastructure works in London. And there's a particular challenge in that these 5G cells in some cases are being powered from a remote cabinet on the side of the street. And if a column gets hit, then we need to be able to immediately isolate the power to the antennas due to the microwave risk to pedestrians. This is a scalable problem, and it's one that actually is keeping a lot of people awake in the telecommunications world around London at the moment. So we were asked to look at a solution using IoT to be able to detect an impact, to notify to a cloud service so we can instigate repairs and teams to deal with the issues, but importantly to negate power on the fly with the local antenna. So this was a typical problem we might encounter. So we went to Simon and we ended up having a discussion with HARDWARIO. And I think at this point I'm going to hand over to my colleague so he can just talk through what we were doing. Oh yeah, of course.
Hello, everybody. Thank you very much, Ashley, for introduction and your page presentation. Well, we met first at IQRF meetup in London. It was February, I guess, and then we started talks. By the way, I'm one of the co-founders of HARDWARIO. My name is Tomáš Morava. Sorry, I forgot to introduce myself. And what we do is to listen to our clients and give them very fast deployment of IoT solutions. That's what we do. And I'm proud to say that we have already some examples with Ashley, and it's kind of proof that we are on the right track. The problem here, as we understood, was described to us in February, maybe March 1st, and we were thinking about how to very easily and very quickly deploy it using our our hardware that we already have. There was a problem that we listened to. Actually, already described that. So, getting fast with least latency information that something is wrong in the street column. It's been hit, or there is some strange characteristic coming from the data that we have, and then also to be able to do some action once we get this information, so that again do something that reduces time and costs of doing the action physically with no remote control. Then. What we've done after we learned what the problem is about, how it physically works, what are the ranges, what is the communication, we started to think and putting together different blocks of the device that is desired in the end. But all of them we have already pre-developed as modules that we just put together. That's the way how we do these innovations and how we do different projects based on unified platforms. We use this device, which is we call it Chester, but this is outdoor platform. It's quite versatile. It's narrowband IoT ready. There was no IQRF implemented in the very beginning, but it solved one problem: getting the information from some sensors and getting it very fast through narrowband IoT network to the backend. We also customized that device. This is the example or sample as it could look like. It can be customized even more once we have a scaling, because this is just a prototype. And then again came another problems where we very welcomed cooperation with IQRF, because there is in smart city solutions, lighting, and this particular very big potential for IQRF, because there was a problem to securely communicate from the top of the column where the narrowband IoT connectivity is to the bottom where there are some controlled breakers that can isolate the power and can really but need to securely communicate with the gateway, and this is what the IQRF communication protocol is perfect for. And moreover, we also are looking for a partner who already has this solution, IQRF ready, so that we just implement IQRF communication to the Chester device in the top of the column and communicate with the ready device. So great potential for further cooperation within IQRF Alliance that's helping, again, this project to be deployed very quickly, not to be designed from scratch, but from some pre-developed components, and giving a real solution and data to the customer very fast. So, yeah, thank you very much, and I give it back my word to Ashley.
Thank you for that. So there's a real cooperation there, and actually off the back of what we're doing there, we can already see other possibilities about how we might use the IQRF network off the back of what we're doing with those columns. When you start looking at 5G, we're talking about an antenna about every 80 meters across London due to the density of buildings. So this could give us quite an established network of IQRF connectivity onto which we can drop lots of other devices into our ecosystem. So I'm conscious of time. So I'd like to thank everybody for taking the time to listen. I'm very happy to take questions now, or I'll be hanging around over the next 24 hours.
Definitely. So any questions from the audience? Oh, really? There's some potential guys behind that, so
Definitely silent.
All right, but that's a typical Czech audience. Don't worry about that. But I have some questions. Like, very actually, like, actually, why IQRF? You know, like we didn't have a fancy booth on the place where you first met us. But what was the trigger actually?
So we've been looking at a whole range of connectivity. And look, you know, there isn't a single connectivity solution that's going to work across the whole city. There's always going to be a fitness for purpose and a fit. What we had established through some extensive work we've been doing in the lighting industry, that a lot of the protocols like Zigbee and other established solutions, some call them mesh, were limited in terms of what they could do. And I think when I saw your stand at the London IoT Global Congress, I think it was, the ability for scale around the mesh, and then doing some further research around the security, another major issue for customers about, you know, the vulnerabilities of their networks within their cities. Denial of services being one of the biggest concerns. So we started to better understand where IQRF was. And then the truth of the matter is, it's about the alliance, because we've got lots of domain expertise sitting within it. You know, so whether we're looking at sensors for flooding, whether we're looking at tilt sensors, you know, we could looking at environmental sensors. And I've always said in my view, the secret to IoT is the domain expertise that shapes the sensor. And it's about having that ability to pull lots of different solutions together from a wide range of providers, but all to a common platform. And I think that's the thing that really did stand out then for me in terms of IQRF.
Okay, perfect. So basically, what about, let's say, if we take 2019, what do you think we can do together? What would be the projects that, let's say, would be in the first line? So what would be the competencies that you need, like, from here?
So it's interesting. We've got some common themes. So whilst every customer is different in terms of their challenges across London, particularly if you're in inner London or outer London boroughs, but there's some fairly consistent themes. Connected lighting is an absolute. The ability to control lighting as a retrofit solution. You know, everybody's moving to LED. We get that. But the ability to put some connectivity in, some ability to put additional sensors into buildings so they can understand footfall, they can understand air quality, the importance of well-being now for staff within buildings, particularly in London due to pollution, is a big driver. Security, improving security within the city is another key issue. So we've been looking at things like door sensors, something quite fundamental really. Can we detect whether a door on a piece of street furniture has been opened or not? And I give you the use case for Westminster. Most people I'm sure will know Westminster has, Westminster Palace, it's got Buckingham Palace, it's got lots of high profile public places, and we host many state visits. And there are a whole host of areas within Westminster that have to be manually tagged in terms of their cabinet doors, and then the Metropolitan Police have to go around and do a physical check to make sure those tags are still in place and they've not been breached. Well, you can imagine they're only as good as at the time they're checked, number one. And secondly, that's a big operational cost. So if we can bring IoT into monitoring these things in a cost-effective manner, both from a counter-terrorism security point of view, but also from a health and safety point of view, because, sometimes cabinets do get left open and we have people going in there and electrocuting themselves. Big issue. So security generally is another big driver. I can tell you now one that there's a couple of other things that are really big on common agendas. One of those is gully sensing. So there's Conway's clean 1 million gully pots a year in London. That's quite a lot. Gully pot is a drain, by the way. So it's where all the road water runs off. And if those things get blocked, it causes chaos. And when the chaos starts, Conways have to respond within a certain amount of time. So there is a big drive from our customers around, can we monitor gully pots remotely? And then can we come up with a more holistic overview about how we better manage them? So rather than going around and just doing a cyclical maintenance cleaning cycle, we're able to red, amber, green those devices and say, well, actually, these are the ones that we know are going to be problematic if we don't deal with them, and therefore we can map out the most efficient way. Why? Because it saves time, it saves actually fuel, but importantly, it saves pollution and noise, which are things that maybe people don't initially think of. So in terms of the coming year, connected lighting, connected gully pots, anything we can do around security, anything we can do around AI, environmental monitoring, I'll say these are sort of real hot topics at the moment. But that list is growing on a daily basis.
All right. Thanks a lot, Tomasz. By the way, when there is a project like that, we need this and this kind of sensor, like how fast can you react, like to get, let's say, a sample for a pilot project and then go for a mass production?
Well, you could see at our booth here the Big Clown IoT kit, which in some limited cases, you can have your product in one afternoon and get the data. And some people, some customers, some industry customers use this to get data and to design the process, design the IoT innovation by itself, and then to really make the assignment for the new project, or to write the technical specification. But seriously, having a real product that can be deployed as a first prototype, but fully working prototype for some pre-series production, we say 3 months. 3 months from the idea to the physical product.
Okay. Thanks a lot. Maybe last question to Ashley, because what I was really surprised when I was talking to you about the London government and the community there is that they are really searching for innovative solutions, because we have here I guess a little bit different experience, because we are rather here offering something to the government, and they say, but we don't have a budget for that.
Yeah. So. Well, I can answer that, and it's really two phases. Number one, customers, councils are looking for innovation because they've got many challenges and limited budgets. So they're coming to service providers like FM Conway and saying, how can we jointly work together in partnership to address these issues? I think my other observation, and to answer your question, is there's probably lots of very good IoT solutions in the marketplace, and they tend to sit within SMEs in the main. And the problem with local authorities is contracting with SMEs is bloody difficult, because there's a big procurement framework and a process they have to go through to understand counterparty risk for them to be able to engage and contract. And what we're finding, and it's kind of interesting, that councils are seeing these opportunities coming from the marketplace but can't contract or do business, and they want an aggregator, which is kind of, it's interesting because you've become a bit of an aggregator here. You're aggregating lots of technology into a single offering. But as a customer, if I want to contract, I probably still have to contract in multiple channels. So I guess going back to your question, why a local authority is taking a slightly different view with Conways as they might have done with individual technology suppliers knocking on their door is number one, we actually do the work. So we're a self-delivery business. So not only do we do the scoping, the consultation, the scoping, we've actually got engineers that go and put the stuff in, and then we can do through life support. But equally, we're able to aggregate all of these things and package it into a commercial offering where the counterparty risk is very minimal because of our size. Yep. So I guess that's the truth of the matter, that the market's got a need, and it's been struggling to find a way how it can best meet that need through a single contracted party.
Okay. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time.